Ethan possessed a unique gift, a supernatural ability, to discern demons hiding amongst humanity. His lineage traced back to a family of dedicated demon hunters, each equipped with their own extraordinary powers, enabling them to confront and petrify these malevolent entities, safeguarding the human realm. While it was expected that Ethan would follow in their footsteps and inherit these formidable abilities, he had other dreams. Rather than embracing the life of a demon hunter, he yearned for the simplicity of a normal existence. The demons, aware of Ethan's potential as a future demon hunter, relentlessly played him. They seized every opportunity to disrupt his life and inflict harm upon him, for they understood that once he came of age, he would represent a significant threat to their kind. Their relentless pursuit aimed to eliminate him while they still had the chance, before he could fulfill his destiny as a demon hunter. One fateful day, as the malevolent demons closed in to harm him, an unexpected savior materialized. This mysterious and formidable demon appeared, striking fear into the hearts of the menacing entities. They swiftly bowed in submission and fled in terror. Overwhelmed by the surprising turn of events, Ethan instinctively embraced this guardian demon, acknowledging him as his protector. With a gentle yet enigmatic smile, the guardian demon bestowed upon Ethan a bracelet. He instructed Ethan to display this bracelet whenever demons sought to harm him. Mysteriously, the guardian departed without revealing his name, leaving Ethan with this newfound means of defense. Armed with the bracelet, Ethan could now fend off the malevolent entities, patiently awaiting the day when he would come of age, granting him the power to make his own choices about his destiny. Driven by his curiosity and longing to understand the enigma of the bracelet, one day Ethan dared to question a demon about its peculiar reaction to the ornament. The demon explained that the bracelet held a profound significance. It was a cherished artifact of the royal family, housing a potent spirit that exclusively obeyed the commands of this esteemed lineage. Any demon who defied the bracelet's authority would face a grim fate, as the vengeful spirit within would swiftly end their existence. The demon explained further that the bracelet had been specifically instructed to safeguard Ethan. This revelation filled Ethan with excitement, for it shed a glimmer of light on the identity of his guardian. Now he knew that his mysterious protector hailed from the royal family of the Demon Kingdom. As Ethan matured, he indeed acquired his long-awaited demon hunting powers. However, he faced a crucial decision. Despite the capabilities he now possessed, he resisted the path of becoming a full-fledged demon hunter, refraining from using these powers. Instead, he remained faithful to his desire for a normal life, using only the bracelet gifted to him by his guardian. With this enchanted artifact, he continued to protect himself from the menacing demons, without fully embracing the destiny of becoming a demon hunter. Ethan's world was irrevocably shattered on the day a malevolent demon ruthlessly consumed the life force of his dearest and closest friend, ultimately taking their life. The profound loss left Ethan utterly broken, his heart weighed down by grief and sorrow, and it ignited a profound transformation in his life. Demons did not consume conventional nourishment like humans. Rather, their sustenance came from feeding on the energy of living beings. In general, this process was harmless if they merely absorbed a modest amount of energy, sufficient for their needs. However, some demons were afflicted with avarice, relentlessly siphoning the life force from humans until it resulted in the death of their victim. Raging with a desire for vengeance and a deep determination to prevent the tragedy that befell his friend from happening to anyone else, Ethan made the resolute decision to embrace his destiny as a demon hunter. He became a formidable and relentless hunter, known and feared by demons dwelling among humans. With the potent aid of the bracelet, and his newly awakened powers, he unleashed a ferocity that turned demons into ash in the blink of an eye. During one of his intense hunts, Ethan unexpectedly came across a weakened, injured demon lying defenseless in the middle of an empty street. Initially, his instinct was to carry out his usual duty and eliminate the demon. However, as he drew closer, he was struck by a sense of recognition, realizing that this very demon was his mysterious guardian from long ago. A tumult of emotions coursed through him, and Ethan found it difficult to ignore the debt he felt he owed to this demon. Reluctantly, he made the decision to spare the demon's life as a way of repaying the guardian for his past protection. Though his initial intention was to leave the injured demon on the street, his sense of responsibility ultimately overcame him. He couldn't bear the thought of leaving the demon vulnerable to another demon hunter's wrath, so he resolved to take the injured demon home with him. Ethan brought the injured demon to his home, tending to its wounds with a sense of puzzlement as to why a demon's injuries had not healed on their own. After he was done, he left him in his room to rest, and went to sleep in the living room. The following morning, the demon awoke with a sense of renewed vitality, feeling invigorated and somewhat disoriented. He swiftly exited the room and encountered Ethan, who was still sleeping on the couch. The demon couldn't contain his curiosity and promptly questioned Ethan about what had transpired. Ethan, with his eyes still closed, responded, "No hello. No thank you for saving my life." He then opened his eyes, sat up, and began to explain how he had saw him and chosen to spare his life and had brought him to his home. His questions soon followed, inquiring about the demon's name and why he had been found lying helpless on the street with wounds that seemed to defy natural healing. Sebastian, after introducing himself to Ethan, shared a significant part of his own story. He revealed his royal lineage, explaining that he was indeed a prince in the demon kingdom, a fact that Ethan was already aware of. Sebastian continued, stating that he held a unique position as the youngest and most beloved child of his parents. His charm and good nature endeared him to everyone in the kingdom, though there was a notable exception, his siblings. He elaborated that his brothers and sisters harbored feelings of jealousy and resentment, stemming from the intense attention and adoration he received from their parents. They regarded him as a goody-two-shoes and had never physically harmed him, but their open animosity made it clear that they harbored disdain for him. The situation escalated, however, when their parents announced their decision to designate Sebastian as the crown prince, attributing this decision to his possession of qualities essential for a strong and just leader. Sebastian's designation as the crown prince became the final straw for his envious siblings. They hatched a nefarious plan and lured him to a secluded place, where they ambushed him, overpowering him and mercilessly destroying his vitality crystal. The vitality crystal was an essential element of every demon, granting them their demonic nature, immortality, unique powers, and enabling them to feed on energies. In a grievous state, beaten and bereft of his vitality crystal, they cast him out into the human world. With his life force irreparably severed, Sebastian was left with two bleak choices. He could either wait in the human realm for his inevitable slow decline, or explore the elusive path of transformation into a human, which appeared to be virtually impossible. His only option was to linger, watching as his existence gradually slipped away. Ethan couldn't help but respond to Sebastian's revelation with a touch of sarcasm. He quipped, "Well, if I'd known this, I wouldn't have bothered wasting my time and energy bringing you to my home and nursing your wounds, considering you're destined to pass away anyway." Sebastian, in response, offered his sincere apologies and expressed his gratitude to Ethan for the help and care he had provided. With a heavy heart, he made the decision to leave. With Sebastian prepared to leave, Ethan intercepted his departure with a pointed question. "Wait, don't you remember me?" Sebastian turned back to scrutinize Ethan, straining his memory to recall any prior encounter. But nothing came to mind. He inquired with curiosity if they had indeed met before. Ethan, now with a tinge of sarcasm, remarked, "And here I was, always thinking I was special. I didn't realize demons had such a terrible memory." He showed Sebastian the bracelet and told him how he saved him when he was younger, then gave him the bracelet. Sebastian finally remembered. He told Ethan he grew up well, but now looks cold compared to the cute and bubbly kid he remembered. Ethan told him that cute and bubbly kid is no more. Ethan then told Sebastian that to show appreciation for what he did for him, he is going to allow him stay with him, then keep him company as he slowly passes away. Sebastian's face positively radiated with excitement as he asked, "Are you for real?" Ethan sighed and admitted, "I feel like changing my mind right now." But Sebastian, with a playful yet determined tone, replied, "You can't take back your words." Sebastian moved closer and wrapped his arms around Ethan, mirroring the embrace that had once characterized their first encounter. However, this time, Ethan swiftly pushed him away, his actions reflecting the change in his demeanor since they had initially met. As Ethan pushed Sebastian away, a look of shock and astonishment washed over Sebastian's face. He stammered, "This is strange," leaving Ethan to assume that his abrupt physical reaction had caused the shock. However, Sebastian quickly clarified the source of his surprise, revealing that, despite the absence of his vitality crystal, he had managed to feed on Ethan's energy when they embraced. Ethan's countenance remained stoic as he responded, "Am I supposed to cheer and congratulate you? Are you planning to start feeding on me now?" Sebastian swiftly shook his head, assuring Ethan, No, you're misunderstanding me." He went on to explain that he didn't feed on humans, and he had no intentions of doing so, even though he was gradually withering away. Ethan nodded and said, "Good to hear, because even if you did feed on humans, I wouldn't allow you to feed on me." Ethan gestured towards an empty storeroom, explaining to Sebastian that he could stay there while he gradually passed away. He provided Sebastian with just a mat and a pillow. As the days went by, Sebastian's condition deteriorated, making Ethan increasingly empathetic towards his situation. In a change of heart, Ethan began to secretly allow Sebastian to draw a small amount of energy from him to sustain himself. He even went a step further, transforming the storage room into a comfortable living space, complete with a proper bed. Over time, Ethan's initial reservations began to wane, and a genuine connection developed between him and Sebastian. Feelings began to bloom in Ethan's heart. He didn't want to lose him. Determined to find a way to save Sebastian, Ethan delved into extensive research, scouring ancient texts and the depths of the internet, in search of information on how a demon could become human. Unfortunately, his efforts proved fruitless, as there seemed to be no documented methods. During one of his demon hunting missions, Ethan made a pact with an ancient demon, promising to spare their lives in exchange for knowledge on how a demon can be turned to human. The ancient demon revealed that the only way a demon could transform into a human was by absorbing a soul pearl into their body. With hope in his eyes, Ethan inquired about the whereabouts of this elusive soul pearl, only to have his dreams dashed when the ancient demon informed him that the soul pearl no longer existed. In a moment of despair, when Ethan believed all hope was lost, the demon recalled a faint memory that sparked a glimmer of possibility. The demon mentioned that there was still one soul pearl in existence, and it was safeguarded within the palace of the demon kingdom. Ethan, fueled by his newfound determination, rushed back home to share the revelation with Sebastian. However, to his surprise, Sebastian expressed reluctance. He didn't want to return to the demon kingdom, where he felt unwanted and doubted anyone would assist him, not even his parents who hadn't even tried looking for him. Sebastian was resolved to accept his fate and spend his remaining days with the one person who genuinely cared for him, Ethan. Ethan, with a heavy heart, expressed his concern to Sebastian. With a melancholic expression, Ethan remarked, "I care about you, but it feels like you don't care about me." Sebastian quickly reassured him, "No, Ethan, I do care about you deeply." Ethan told him that if he genuinely cared about him, he should be willing to explore every possible avenue to continue living. Ethan didn't want to experience the pain of losing someone he had grown so close to again. He confessed that he was falling for Sebastian and didn't want to lose him. Sebastian, deeply touched by Ethan's words, requested some time to contemplate his decision. Ethan suggested to Sebastian that while he thought about his decision, he should consume some of his energy to regain strength. Initially hesitant, Sebastian was about to refuse, but Ethan intervened, firmly stating, "You're not refusing this one. I'll just eat a lot to have plenty of energy to share with you." Sebastian jokingly asked, "Aren't you worried about getting fat from eating so much?" Ethan replied with a playful, mock-sad expression, "Wouldn't you like me any more if I got fat?" Sebastian quickly replied, "I would. Fat or not, it doesn't matter, you are still you." Ethan, with a slight grin, teased, "Are you admitting you like me?" Sebastian fell silent. Ethan then said, "I will take your silence as a yes." However, Sebastian shared his concerns, saying he didn't want to start something he couldn't finish, especially given his uncertainty. And what if he's not here anymore? Ethan quickly placed his hand over Sebastian's mouth and angrily exclaimed, "Don't say such things. You're not going anywhere. You're staying with me." He then left Sebastian and headed to his room. The next morning, while Ethan was eating breakfast, which was a lot than he usually ate, Sebastian apologized to him. Ethan told him he wasn't mad at him, so he shouldn't worry. He then got up and hugged Sebastian to give him some of his energy because he looked weak. When Sebastian had gotten just enough energy, he gently pushed Ethan away from the hug. This continued every day. One day, while Ethan and Sebastian were engaged in casual conversation, Ethan suddenly posed an unconventional question, asking Sebastian if he'd like to kiss. Sebastian immediately started laughing and asked Ethan, who casually asked to kiss in the middle of a conversation. "I do," Ethan said. Sebastian's laughter ceased, and he adopted a serious demeanor. He explained to Ethan that he knows that won't be possible between them. He emphasized that he didn't want to jeopardize Ethan's safety in any way. In response, Ethan conveyed his belief that they wouldn't know until they tried. Sebastian was about to speak when Ethan planted a quick kiss on Sebastian's lips. Sebastian went silent for a few seconds, then was about to say something again, and Ethan planted another kiss on Sebastian's lips. They looked into each other's eyes for a few seconds, then began to engage in a passionate kiss with desire flowing between them. As they kissed, Sebastian became so engrossed in the kiss that he didn't notice how much energy he was inadvertently drawing from Ethan. During the passionate moment, Ethan suddenly lost consciousness. The shock, fear, and sadness washed over Sebastian, tears welling up in his eyes. Paralyzed with uncertainty, he felt helpless, unable to take any action as he didn't want to risk harming Ethan. Filled with panic, he hurried to his room and locked himself inside. Throughout the night, Sebastian stayed awake, anxiously hoping that Ethan would recover. The following morning, Ethan finally regained consciousness. As he awoke, his immediate concern was finding Sebastian. He knew Sebastian would likely blame himself for what had happened. Ethan went to Sebastian's room and knocked on the door, attempting to open it, but it was locked. This locked door was a small relief, because at least Sebastian hadn't left the house. Likewise, Sebastian felt relieved upon hearing Ethan's knock. He was grateful that nothing serious had befallen Ethan, and he was still safe. Ethan repeatedly asked Sebastian to open the door, and urged him not to blame himself. But Sebastian insisted on being left alone and wanted to keep his distance. This situation continued for several days, and Ethan's concern grew. He feared that if things continue like this, he would end up losing Sebastian. Ethan decided to journey to the Demon Kingdom by himself and retrieve the Soul Pearl with the assistance of a demon who had agreed to guide him to the Demon Kingdom in exchange for her life. Ethan managed to reach the kingdom. However, this demon ended up betraying him and led him into a trap, resulting in his capture by the kingdom's guards. He was subsequently brought before the king and queen, who, without giving him the chance to tell them about their son, ordered his imprisonment and torture. At Ethan's house, Sebastian emerged from his room, worried about Ethan's prolonged absence. He discovered a letter left by Ethan. The letter explained that Ethan had gone to the Demon Kingdom to retrieve the Soul Pearl. Without wasting another second, Sebastian ran out. He couldn't stop thinking of how he put Ethan into another danger. In the torture cell where Ethan was confined, 3 men and 2 women dressed in royal attire entered. Ethan surmised that they were Sebastian's siblings. Jonathan, one of the siblings, stepped forward and began to laugh mockingly at Ethan. He taunted, "So you're the one providing company to our dear baby brother in his final moments. Don't be amazed that I know this. There's no way we let him out of here without keeping a close watch on him." Ethan retorted angrily at Jonathan, "How can you even call him your precious brother after what you did to him?" Jonathan responded by saying they were merely helping Sebastian find the place where he truly belonged because he didn't fit into the Demon Kingdom. He then unveiled a pearl and taunted Ethan, asking, "Did you come looking for this?" all the while chuckling annoyingly. Ethan figured it was a soul pearl. With a burning desire to get the soul pearl, tried to reach for it, but his hands were helplessly bound. Jonathan said couldn't comprehend why a demon hunter like Ethan would be attempting to help a demon like Sebastian, rather than eliminating him. Ethan explained that it was because Sebastian had a good heart and was more of a true person than they would ever be. Jonathan, with a fake smile, responded, "That's exactly why. We helped him escape from here. Because he was acting like a human when he's a demon. We can't allow someone like him to rule the Demon Kingdom." Jonathan threw the pearl on the floor, destroying it with his demon powers, and said, "Now enough of the chit-chat. Let's get into business." The rest of the siblings joined Jonathan, and they all started beating and torturing Ethan with anything they could find. Ethan bore the pain without uttering a word. His thoughts were consumed by the knowledge that the last chance to save Sebastian had just been shattered. Sebastian arrived in the Demon Kingdom and wasted no time approaching the king and queen. He confronted them directly, inquiring about Ethan's whereabouts upon his arrival. The king and queen were surprised by his presence and asked him why he was there. Sebastian retorted, "Am I not allowed to visit anymore? After you all abandoned me, you're now taking the only person who cares about me away from me." The king and queen wore expressions of surprise and confusion, asking Sebastian what he meant by feeling abandoned. They went on to explain that they believed he had chosen to leave the kingdom of his own volition. Sebastian's siblings had informed them of his desire to live among humans and not become the next king, so they decided to respect his wishes and allowed him to pursue his dreams. They assured him that they were concerned about his well-being, but didn't want to stifle his aspiration, and they had tasked his siblings with discreetly keeping an eye on him, reporting that he was doing well. Sebastian's shock was quickly replaced by pressing concern. He needed to find Ethan and ensure his safety. The king and queen explained that the human he was looking for had been locked up in the torture cell. Panic overtook Sebastian, and he rushed out of the room, with the king and queen following closely behind. Upon arrival at the torture cell, the king immediately ordered Sebastian's siblings to cease torturing Ethan. The siblings attempted to act pleased to see Sebastian, but he told them to drop the act, going towards Ethan. When Sebastian laid eyes on Ethan, his heart sank. Ethan's battered and bloodied form made him barely recognizable, and the sight shattered Sebastian. In the midst of his pain, Ethan managed a weak smile and even cracked a joke, asking if Sebastian still liked him in this sorry state, now that his face was looking like a puffer fish. Sebastian, overwhelmed by the situation, was in no mood for jokes. He attempted to lift Ethan, but his strength proved insufficient, and he didn't want to risk absorbing Ethan's energy. Instead, Sebastian called for a guard to carry Ethan to a room where he could receive proper care. As the guard prepared to carry Ethan, Jonathan saw an opportunity to strike Ethan with his demon powers to end his life. Quick to react, Sebastian positioned himself in front of Ethan, shielding him from the impending strike. The powerful attack rendered Sebastian unconscious. In the wake of the shocking turn of events, the king, fuming with anger, immediately ordered Jonathan's confinement. The queen was in tears, and the other siblings stood there in fear, dreading the consequences that might befall them. Ethan sobbed uncontrollably, shaking Sebastian in a desperate attempt to rouse him, but Sebastian appeared lifeless. Ethan refused to give up, persistently shaking him, while tears streamed from his eyes. At that very moment, a drop of his tears and a drop of Sebastian's blood coincidentally converged on Sebastian's forehead. The mingling of blood and tears gave birth to a mysterious pearl, which then vanished into Sebastian's forehead. Ethan didn't notice this because he was busy crying, but the king and queen and the siblings witnessed it. Ethan didn't notice this because he was busy crying, but the king and queen and the siblings witnessed it. Sebastian's eyes fluttered open, and he found himself lying, with his head on Ethan's lap. Startled, he quickly sat up, fearing that he had unintentionally absorbed Ethan's energy during his unconsciousness. Ethan, overwhelmed with joy that Sebastian was awake, extended his arms for a hug, but Sebastian hurriedly moved away, explaining that he didn't want to inadvertently siphon his energy anymore. The king and queen then explained to Sebastian the miraculous transformation brought about by the mixture of Ethan's tears and blood, turning into the soul pearl, and being absorbed by Sebastian's body, effectively making him human. This revelation left both Sebastian and Ethan astonished and thrilled. For the first time, they hugged each other without the fear of energy absorption. The siblings, excluding Jonathan, confessed to the king and queen about their wrongdoings. They extended their sincere apologies to both Sebastian and Ethan, acknowledging their wrongdoing and attributing it to manipulation by Jonathan. Although Sebastian couldn't immediately forgive them, he chose not to harbor a grudge. The siblings also willingly accepted the punishments that were meted out as a consequence of their actions. Ethan received a special medication that facilitated his swift recovery. The king and queen, having observed the profound connection between Sebastian and Ethan, entrusted their son's well-being to Ethan. They believed that these two individuals were meant for one another, and even though Sebastian was now human, they assured him he would always be their son. They bid the couple farewell, inviting them to visit any time they wish. Sebastian and Ethan returned home, and their first action was to share a passionate kiss, with Sebastian taking the lead this time. Ethan playfully pulled away and teased, "So you were secretly craving a kiss last time, but pretended otherwise." Sebastian responded with a grin, "I wasn't pretending. I just wanted to ensure your safety, but now I don't have to worry about that." As he leaned in to resume their kiss, Ethan stepped back with a playful smirk and quipped, "What makes you think you have the right to kiss me? You've never even told me you love me or even like me." Sebastian, a bit taken aback, responded, "I thought you knew." To which Ethan replied, "I don't know, you have to say it yourself." Sebastian, who was a bit shy, asked if he could write it instead, as expressing it face to face was a bit intimidating for him. Ethan chuckled and remarked, "I've never seen a shy demon." Sebastian corrected him, saying he was no longer a demon but now human. Ethan playfully said, "Oops, I forgot." And they both shared a laugh. That night, as they shared a room, they cuddled closely. For the first time, while Ethan appeared to be sleeping, Sebastian softly whispered, "I love you," into Ethan's ear. Much to Sebastian's delight, Ethan smiled, revealing that he wasn't truly asleep. Ethan and Sebastian filled their days with activities that Sebastian had never been able to experience as a demon, and they seized every chance to share kisses. Kissing became Sebastian's newfound favorite activity. Ethan decided to stop demon hunting and fully immerse himself in his newfound happiness. However, he never hesitated to come to the rescue of humans in peril whenever he encountered a situation involving greedy demons. The once cold and brutal demon hunter had his heart melted by a demon's love.